The city breathed dampness and neon. Among the bustling crowd, merging with the shadows beneath the low sky, moved a man. The fabric of his worn jacket was soaked with the weariness of long journeys. His face, hidden beneath the pulled-down brim of an old cap, was silent. But his eyes, deep, faded, as if bleached by sun and time, radiated a cold, unbreakable strength. City drifters, sensitive to the despair of others, instinctively gave him a wide berth. In his gaze there was no submission or plea. There lived a history etched into his soul, like a hidden scar on a face, lurking beneath the rough stubble. Suddenly, the city's cacophony erupted with the shriek of brakes and a piercing child scream. From around the corner of a building, straight through a red light, shot a kid on a bike, narrowly missing the massive shape of a truck speeding down the street. The city's heart seemed to stop. A second from disaster, the Shadow Man reacted with the lightning speed of a predator. A lunge, a grip of steel on the kid's collar. In the next instant, the young body was snatched from the jaws of death. The bike crunched beneath the wheels, scattering into wreckage. The truck driver jumped out, crimson with rage. "You got a death wish? Watch where you're going, kid. Where are your parents?" The boy flinched, ready to burst into tears. The rescuer turned. A single glance from his faded eyes made the driver falter, swallow a stream of curses, and hastily retreat to his cab, muttering under his breath about unsupervised kids. "You all right?" The drifter's voice was low and even, without a hint of reproach, only a slight weariness. The kid sniffled. "Yeah, thanks. My bike's just new. I couldn't handle it." "A new bike. Expensive toy." A shadow of a bitter smile flickered in the rescuer's eyes. "You got lucky today. But me? I don't need your thanks." "No, my dad. He's really rich. He owns a chain of restaurants, the Golden Compass, the main ones downtown. He'll make you rich, I promise." The kid's insistence was astonishing. He wasn't asking, he was demanding to be thanked. A dangerous spark flashed and died in the drifter's eyes. "A restaurant, huh? The Golden Compass." A familiar name. Too familiar. The boy didn't seem to notice the change. He simply saw an action movie hero in this strange, strong man and wanted to show his importance. "Come on, he's there now." The kid tugged his sleeve. "My name's Leo." "Alex," the drifter introduced himself, shaking the small hand offered to him. The hand was soft and tender, his, calloused, like the bark of an old tree. They walked down the street, a strange pair, an elegant child and a man whose place, it seemed, was on the fringes of life. Passers-by cast curious glances, but neither of them paid attention. Each was lost in their own whirl of thoughts. At the entrance to the Golden Compass, an establishment whose stained glass and gilded signs screamed luxury, they were stopped. "Where do you think you're going, bum?" a guard bellowed, a brute with an unyielding gaze. "He's with me," Leo interrupted imperiously. "He's my rescuer. Dad told you to let him through." The guards, Mark and Gary, exchanged surprised glances. They knew Leo, the owner's son, serious and smart beyond his years, but to bring this kind of person. "Maybe I should go," Alex said quietly, not wanting to cause the boy trouble. "Hold on. What I say goes. Wait here. I'll be quick." Leo dashed inside, leaving Alex under the bewildered stares of the guards. In the office, bathed in soft light, sat Arthur Kensington, a well-groomed, self-assured man with a sharp gaze. "Leo, what brings you here?" The boy blurted out the rescue story, emotionally describing the truck and the brave stranger. Kensington listened, frowning. "Are you mad about the bike?" Leo asked nervously. "The bike? Trifles, we'll buy a new one." Kensington waved it off. His gaze was fixed on something else. "But a bum, you say? He has the look of an action hero? A drifter?" Kensington laughed, but the laugh was dry. "He's not like everyone else. Dad, you have to thank him. Properly." "I'll thank him. I'll thank him. Don't worry. I'll tell the manager. We'll find him some work. Not a fish, but a fishing rod, understand?" Kensington stood up. "I have business. Tell your rescuer to wait by the coat check. Warn the guards." Alex waited, The world of luxury pressed down on him with hostility. The manager, Mr. Davies, appeared quickly, smooth, polite, but with cold eyes. "Hello. Mr. Kensington asked me to hire you. As a cleaner. Dirty work, uniform provided. Be here by 7:30 tomorrow. You can live in the storage room, but don't steal. The boss won't tolerate it. And he's a man with certain connections. Best not to anger him." Alex nodded. A cleaner. In this place, Arthur Kensington's name was enough to understand. This wasn't just a coincidence. It was fate. Destiny had brought him back. The storage room was cramped, smelling of chlorine and stale food. But it was a roof over his head. Autumn was approaching. Alex settled in, laying out his meagre belongings. Thoughts swarmed in his head. Kensington. Arthur? He woke before dawn, out of habit. Cold water from a bottle, leftovers of yesterday's bread. Across from the house where he sometimes slept in the attic, a clock display was visible. 6 a.m. He had an hour. An hour to get to the place where an old ghost awaited him. He hadn't come here just for a job. He had come for answers. At 7:30, he stood by the service entrance. The cook, Brenda, a good-natured woman with a round face, immediately noticed the newcomer. "Hungry, aren't you?" She placed a plate of steaming scrambled eggs and a cup of coffee in front of him. Alex didn't remember the last time he'd had a hot meal. The taste was incredible. Or was it just hunger? His job involved a broom and trash cans, cleaning up the remnants of others' celebrations and success. At first, they laughed at him. "Does he even know how to use a toilet?" giggled the young waitresses. But soon the laughter faded. There was strength in his movements, dignity in his eyes. They sensed something in him that set him apart from an ordinary drifter. A shower in the staff washroom was a revelation. Washing away the grime of the streets, he felt like he was shaking dust from his soul. Beneath the jacket, under a thin second-hand T-shirt, contoured muscles were revealed. The guard, Mark, a strong guy, noticed this. Wow, what a waste for him to sweep the floor here. He should be on the security detail. The staff gradually got used to him. Alex was quiet, but not withdrawn. He listened. He listened to the conversations of the guards, the cook, the waitresses. He gathered information about the owner of the Golden Compass. Bit by bit, Arthur Kensington, according to them, lived the life of a true sybarite. He was rarely seen at the restaurant. Money's flowing like a river. Why would he hang around? Mark shrugged. He's got a beautiful wife, a son. But he doesn't care. He's out and about, left and right. Saunas, casinos, clubs. He has a son, Alex remarked one day, his heart aching at the thought of Leo. What kind of example is he setting for him? What kind of example? There was this time his wife was hospitalized. He brought the kid here. He was in his office having fun with another woman, and the boy climbed into the fountain in the fall. I had to pull him out, Gary recounted. Alex already knew. Kensington owned an entire chain. He started with a small place outside the city. Funny thing is, he didn't start alone, Chris chimed in. Another guard, a seasoned man with a knowing squint. He had a partner, an orphan, just like him. Sharp mind, they say. This whole business is his doing. He developed it, built it up. And where is this partner now? Alex's voice sounded as if from a distance. He just disappeared. About 10 years ago. Supposedly went to jail for fraud. Or maybe Kensington got rid of him. Wouldn't put it past him. Chris shrugged. Every new detail landed on Alex's heart like a lead weight. There was no doubt left. This was that. Arthur, and the missing partner, convicted of fraud. That was him, Alex Walker. But he hadn't committed any fraud. Sleepless nights, memories washed over him in waves, cruel and clear. The orphanage. Him, Alex, absorbed in calculations, seeing the world in numbers and algorithms. Arthur, clever, sly, a born manipulator. The caretakers shook their heads. So different. Let's start a business. Arthur's idea, voiced after graduation. With what? No money, no connections, Alex doubted. We'll earn the money. And connections will appear, Arthur was convincing. They slaved away, unloading freight cars, working construction. They saved every dollar. They found a dilapidated building for peanuts. Alex did the blueprints himself, calculated estimates, handled accounting, advertising. The little restaurant, the Old Tale, decorated with flea market finds, became a cult spot. Success grew. Your brains, my connections, Arthur used to say. Alex saw these connections, shady types who reeked of criminality. We don't need people like that, he tried to object. Can't do without them, Lex, Arthur laughed. Your job is to count. Mine is to decide. Even then, there was steel in that laugh. And then, Sarah, beautiful, with eyes the colour of a stormy sky. She sat in their restaurant, so fragile and sad. Alex, not believing in love at first sight, fell madly in love. He approached her, gave her roses, a teddy bear. They started talking. He learned that her beloved had betrayed her. Maybe I can give you a lift. It's right on my way, he lied, ready to drive to the ends of the earth just to spend another minute with her. She agreed. Their romance was a whirlwind. Next to her, he wanted to be better, purer. Sarah convinced him to get an education. Business is an unreliable thing. You need a backup. He enrolled in an economics correspondence course. Arthur grumbled. She's got you wrapped around her finger. Aren't there enough women? Alex just smiled. She's my Saz. She's special, smart, my kindred spirit. The wedding. Arthur, best man. Happiness seemed unshakable. The business was flourishing. It was time to expand. And that's when Arthur showed his true face. I should lead the chain, he declared. Why you? We're partners. Alex was stunned. Because I built the connections. What did you do? Counted papers? Reputation? Arthur sneered. Money, that's our reputation. And I'm the one who got the money. And I created everything else. The system, the name. I'm the one who should lead. Running this takes a tough man. You don't have it. The argument escalated. They agreed to talk again tomorrow, with clear heads. The next day, when Alex arrived, the restaurant was swarming with people in uniform. Tax authorities, some kind of special service. Are you Alex Nicholas Walker? A stern man asked. Are you in charge of accounting? Yes. What's happening? The phone rang. Sarah, her voice anxious. Alex, I need to tell you something. Saz, wait, I have people here. You are accused of illegal fund transfers and fraud involving dummy corporations, the investigator stated. Your computer skills would allow for such a scheme. Alex looked at Arthur. Arthur just threw up his hands, feigning surprise. There must be some mistake. Lex, don't worry. I'll get a lawyer. We'll sort this out. The court. Fragments of phrases. Guilty. Illegal withdrawal of funds. Conspiracy. Dummy corporations. The bang of a gavel. 10 years imprisonment. The world collapsed. Sarah fainted. Saz, he cried, but they were already pulling him away. 10 years. Hell. Pain. Humiliation. The thought of Sarah, of a future that wouldn't exist. Arthur, he didn't just betray him. He stole his entire life. In prison, listening to conversations, Alex learned more. He learned that Sarah married Arthur. He learned she had a son. His son. Arthur was raising his son. Take care of her, he'd asked Arthur in that conversation long ago, before the trial. Arthur promised, and he took care of her the way he knew how. Stole his wife, stole his child, stole his business, stole his life. The incident with Leo became the spark. It led him directly to the enemy's lair. To his own restaurant by right. Sarah. He saw her in the dining area. Beautiful, changed, but still the same. Their meeting was a shock. You're alive, they said. You were dead. He said, Alex corrected, looking into her blue eyes. She told him about that request, to tell him she was pregnant, that she loved him. Arthur lied, always lied. As they talked, Sarah understood doubts that had accumulated over the years. Arthur, his connections, his attitude towards people, his sudden care after Alex's arrest, his strange sympathy when he came to her saying Alex had been buried after an escape attempt. Everything fell into place. Alex, sitting in the storage room, listened through the thin wall to Arthur's footsteps. He heard him storm into his office, felt waves of rage emanating from his lair. He knew what was about to happen. Arthur burst into the office, his face distorted with fury. In his hand, the gleaming metal of a pistol. "What is this? You? How dare you? Touching my wife, you bastard!" Arthur's voice grated like an ungreased cart. Alex stood calmly. "Hello, Art." Arthur paled. "Lex, you were... Me? I was supposed to rot in prison, or in the ground, after your failed assassination attempt. Remember? A lightning-fast move. A strike. The pistol flew from Arthur's hand and skittered across the floor. Alex picked it up. Now the barrel was pointed at Kensington. "What do you want? Money? I'll give you anything," Arthur stammered. "I don't need your money." Alex's voice was icy. He took a tiny voice recorder from his pocket, switched on the recording. "Tell me, Art, everything, how it happened." Arthur, tied to the chair with Alex's belt, broke. Fear tore the whole truth out of him. How he envied him. How he forged the documents. How he hired hackers. How he framed his friend to get everything. The business, the money, the wife he secretly desired. How he ordered him killed in prison, faking his death. At that moment, the door burst open. Sarah. She heard the shouts and rushed to the office. She saw the scene. Arthur, tied up, pale, and Alex, standing with the pistol and voice recorder. Her eyes fell on the laptop, on the screen of which was displayed the surveillance footage of their recent meeting. She understood everything. The police arrived. The recording on the voice recorder became the verdict. Arthur Kensington, millionaire and respectable businessman, was hysterical as they led him away. 6 years. Less than Alex, but for him, an eternity. Alex received compensation. Not money, but acknowledgement of his innocence, justice, even if delayed. The scar. He had it removed. He didn't want to carry a reminder of the pain and betrayal on his face. Meeting him after the operation at the clinic entrance, Sarah gasped, "You're so handsome, I'm jealous of myself." A meeting in the conference room of the Golden Compass. The staff, including Mr. Davies the manager and guards Mark and Gary, froze. Sarah beamed. "Allow me to introduce your new leader, Alex Nicholas Walker. Please welcome him." A ripple of astonished whispers spread through the room, followed by an approving murmur. That same cleaner. That same... boom. "Mr. Walker?" Mark and Gary nodded with respect. "Just don't work us too hard," Gary quipped playfully. Alex smiled. "Noted, guys." "And that's not all," Sarah added, taking his arm. "In a month, we're getting married. Everyone's invited." Applause. Smiles. For the first time, the atmosphere in this room wasn't one of icy luxury and fear, but of genuine joy. Life had given him everything back. Love, family, his life's work. A month later, Sarah entered his office. There was a secret in her eyes. "Alex, darling, I need to tell you something." In her hand, a test. 2 lines. He lifted her into his arms, spun her around the room, laughing with happiness. A second child. A new life. "When should we tell Leo?" "Tomorrow. Let's just be happy together today." A Sunday afternoon. Sunny. They walked down the street, Alex, Sarah, Leo, pushing a stroller with his baby sister's tiny pink face. A happy family. They walked past the very building where Alex had once slept in the attic. He looked up at the clock display. Maybe someone else was hiding from the world there now. Someone broken or betrayed by life. Someone waiting for their chance. Alex smiled. Let them be lucky too. Everyone deserves their place in the sun. He looked at the people he loved most in the world. His own happiness was reflected in their faces. He had made it